Hey YouTube, good afternoon. Check in. This will be a lunchtime chat. Everybody's favorite, apparently, which we haven't had in quite some time. But just checking in. Been a while, and I got misidentified with my location yesterday, so I wanted to update everybody that I am in Nevada. Slytiger put out a video thinking that I was still in Oregon, and so to clarify and correct him or anybody else had a misconception, we left Oregon last Saturday night, so it's been quite a while. So sorry about that. If lack of videos didn't help with that, I'm sure, misconception. But anyway, yeah. So there are Oregon things going on. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, I guess you'd say, or things that aren't beneficial with the situation up there, causing a lot of division, and just man, it's failing. It's a lot of it's failing to focus on the problem. A lot of people are trying to get their own agenda out there. A lot of people want it to start off the bigger revolution or whatever. But I think people need to quit trying to get their own agendas out there and remember what the people of the county want, what the locals want, is what's important. There's a lot of them that are concerned with the BLM abuses and ranching and stuff, and have come forward and said so. There's a lot of them that flat out want what's going on at the refuge, want those people to leave. You had the 3% from Idaho come in and interject themselves in the middle to try to act as an intermediary, and to also do what they considered preventing another Waco, which was interesting. A week later, after this whole thing started, so some people are starting to find their I don't know, place in the whole thing, find their footing. Like I said from the get-go, the best thing that could happen was last Saturday, well, not this past one, but 10 days ago, if the county, people from that county, would have went down there and removed them themselves. That would have been the best outcome. But that didn't happen. So we're dragging this out. The media's being allowed to manipulate and corrupt the message, shape their own messages. And so there's a lot of misinformation getting out, a lot of propaganda. I mean, most of the people at the refuge aren't even armed, and they're most certainly not militia, which I wish a lot of people like Justin Woolley would stop spouting. The people at the refuge are not the militia. I say again, people at the refuge are not the militia, because they don't represent the community. They're not from a community. They're not a community organization, which the militia is. The people of the local populace. This is just a bunch of yahoos that got together and decided to go do something. Now the Idaho 3%, that's not the case, and the Pacific Patriot Network as well. They all collaborated to come back out, because once the sheriff broke off relations, they saw the chances of things going bad quick pretty high. So they interjected themselves in there, which I don't think was necessarily a bad move. And they haven't really had an overt presence. As much as it's blown out of proportion, it's not like they're heavily armed. You keep hearing this term, heavily armed. I think I've seen like 2 long rifles. But anyway, but they've inserted themselves to keep a dialogue, continue to act on the redress of grievances that was put out, and some resolution points of resolution, I should call it, to get this whole thing resolved potentially. But there's definitely some shady business going on by the BLM. I don't think anybody agrees with that, and that community's divided. I mean, you got different meetings set up by different people. Anything the government sets up, with the sheriff and the representative there, from last night, people that show up are, hey, everybody get out, whatever. Then you have another meeting set up by the ranchers and such. And they're like, we want the militia to stay, we want the protesters to stay to hear more what's going on and to find out more about this underlying business of corruption and potentially a unjust conviction as well. And that whole fire conviction that goes back to the Hammonds, there's also some evidence of withheld evidence, I guess you'd say. There's evidence that evidence was withheld. So things like that going on, but it's all getting pushed to the side by the media saying well-armed, heavily armed, right-wing, whatever, yada yada yada. Forgetting the point that their government is wants suppressing the freedom. But enough of that. If you haven't been paying attention to anything but that, hopefully you have seen that the economic front is continuing to deteriorate. Oil down below $30 today. I think it's just barely above it as it closed today. Stock market down, everything's down. Showing that economy is zooming right along. New housing sales, all this stuff, which in a winter month is not terribly unexpected, but can probably also be considered to be a response from the raising of interest rates. The raising of interest rates definitely put a crimp on things, probably, especially when you look at housing. There was an article, graph or something I saw yesterday, the day before, said there were no shipping containers in the Atlantic Ocean going from North America to Europe for the first time ever, or at least the first time in 500 some years at least, right? Or how long we could track it, which shows there's no trade, no money, which is a bad sign as well when it comes to all those such things as the economy. The Chinese devalued their currency more, which brought their market down, which then had ripple effects. So it's all interconnected and all getting drugged down by the same cause of unjust, unreal money. So continue to track and see where it all goes, right? So that's really the big picture to look at. Obviously the picture here at home with corrupt government and everything is an ongoing process, but just want to check in with everybody, let you know, yeah, we're here in Nevada. This is not the flat Harney County, which is, it's not all flat, but it's only got a couple little ridge lines compared to what you see in the background here. So just letting everybody know what's out there. Shout out to everybody that's paying attention. Continue to prepare. Continue to get ready for the fight. Speaking of that, there's a real good video from Irish Hibernia's son who put out a video today. I'll put a link below. Really good. Hope everybody go checks it out. It's a message to everybody. It's not for any particular group. It's a message to everybody. So go check that out. I'll put it below. And again, a thanks to HDT, High Desert Tactical, Trevor up there in Oregon. We got to see him when we were up there. I think he's in one of our videos, so I haven't had a chance to thank him again for hospitality. And really, like me and Reb said, our Friday couldn't have been better going up there, and the hospitality that night, and then Saturday fell apart after the rally. It was really bizarre. You know, as good a time as we were having Friday, then Saturday just went downhill fast. So again, thanks to him for all the hospitality. But we'll keep in touch, people. Continue to see what's going on out there. Live free.